Good morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. Welcome back to today's stick mobility class. I am Coach Ray. Thank you for joining me for today. So we're going to give everybody a minute just to make sure people are logging on here. So for today's class, we are going to need 2 long sticks, okay? And we're also going to need something for us to push the sticks up into. We're going to get into 2 different squat variations. The first one's going to be a Dunphy squat. We're going to play around with that positioning a little bit. We're also going to get into a sissy squat type of variation, so we're going to need that second stick for that one as well. Okay, so I have a squat rack here for me to press the stick up into for the Dunphy, and I also have a pad for us to kneel on as we get into some of the deep fascial stretching. We are going to be doing some half kneeling monkey hangs here. Okay, we're going to add in some rotations, different things like that. You guys know how much I love my rotations. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to warm up the feet and ankles first. So I'm going to take one stick here. Okay, so what I want to do here, I'm going to take the shoulder about a little wider than shoulder width stance, a good horse stance here. So I actually want to get a little bit more into a squat. I want to get into a little bit of a deeper squat here this time. Okay, did this a while ago, but so I just want to make sure that I'm loading my quads here. All right, so I'll go a little bit from the side. So get into a relatively deep squat here. I want to make sure that the stick is slightly angled in towards me, but not too much. We're just using this for balance here, okay? So, hands are stacked at chest height, right? Shoulders down, okay? I wanna make sure I'm staying up tall here, right? Now what I'm gonna do from here, I'm gonna bring up both heels, all 5 toes are in contact with the floor, ball of the toes are in contact with the floor as well. Hips height doesn't change, or hips are gonna move, but the torso doesn't, okay? I'm gonna bring both of my heels back down nice and slow, hover them off the floor, and then bring them back up again. Good, hold, bring them back down, nice and slow. Hover them off the floor, back up again, okay? Good, back down, nice and slow. Hover them off the floor. Let's go a couple more here. This is gonna be exceedingly important as we get into some of those squat variations here. Okay, back down, nice and slow. Let's go one more time here. Up, hold that top position here. Try to stay balanced. Good, and down, nice and slow. Excellent, going to come out a little bit. So now we're gonna do here, we're gonna work with ankle circles here. We're not gonna do any lateral shifting. We're just gonna work on that circular motion. So we're gonna go 1 foot at a time. I'm gonna start on my right foot here. So I'm gonna have the stick in line with my center body. Okay, I'm gonna get back into that horse stance again. Feet a little wider than shoulder width. Drop down a little bit. Again, make sure the pelvis is stacked into the spine here. Okay, so what I wanna do from here, I'm gonna bring that right heel up to 12 o'clock. And then I'm gonna move that right heel to 9. So I'm gonna bring it in towards my center line. Then 6, bring the heel down towards the floor, hovering it still. Then go to 3, and then 12 again. Okay, let's go a couple more. 9, 6, 3, 12, 9, 6, 3, and 12. Good. Bring that heel back down. Now we're going to switch over to the other foot here, okay? Left heel up, okay? Now we're going to go 3. Good. 6, 9, 12. Okay, make sure you stay balanced. Right foot stays active. 3, 6, 9, 12. Let's go one more. 3, 6, 9, and 12. Good. Back down nice and slow. Excellent. Okay. So now we're going to do here, we're going to move on to the hips. Okay. So really want you to focus on and make sure we're driving the stick into the ground pretty hard here. So I'm going to grab my second stick here. Okay. I'm going to create a little bit more tension. So typically we have the hands at about roughly shoulder height here. I'm actually going to have the hands a little lower so we get a little bit more leverage on the sticks here. Okay. So I'm gonna go with pelvic tilts. I'm gonna start with my feet wider than shoulder width, okay? Toes are gonna be pointed slightly outwards here. Just a slight bit, not much, okay? So, sticks are angled in towards my toes here. Squat down just a bit, right? Make sure we're staying up tall. What I'm gonna do for here, I'm gonna drive the sticks down with about 30 to 40% tension, and I'm gonna do a posterior tilt. So I'm going to squeeze my glutes, roll my pelvis under, okay? Driving my knees apart. Good. Now I'm gonna do an anterior tilt, still driving those sticks into the floor here, right? Make sure your mid-back and spine and thoracic spine don't move here. So you shouldn't be back and forth. Posterior tilt again. Make sure you're breathing. Good. Anterior tilt. Good, let's go a couple more. Posterior tilt. Squeeze those glutes, drive those sticks into the floor here. Again, we're at about 30 to 40%. Anterior tilt. Good. One more time each way. Posterior tilt. Good. Anterior tilt. And back to center. And ease off. Good. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is we have the corner of a wall. This is the perfect time to get to it. So I'm actually going to use this right here behind me. So whatever side that the stick is on, that leg is back. So the stick is going to my right here, okay? So my right leg is going to be back. So I'm going to be in a split stance position here, okay? We're going to work in and out of rotation going in both directions here, all right? So the end of the stick is going to be in line with my left foot, okay? I'm going to step that right foot back, all right? Now, I want to place my right hand on the end of the stick here, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to load that front leg like so. I want to make sure that knee is stacked over the ankle, okay? That back leg, I'm driving that heel back, so I'm squeezing that right glute here, okay? Just locking that hip into extension. What I'm going to do from here, lightly pushing the stick into the corner here, I'm going to start to reach down with my right hand and rotate my left hand up. Okay, opening up some of that rotation. Good. I'm gonna come up, out. Now I'm gonna bring my right hand up and back, and then I'm gonna bring my left elbow on the inside of my left leg here. And I'm gonna use that elbow to create some tension to further facilitate rotation. Almost like a world's greatest stretch. Okay? I'm gonna come up and out, nice and slow. Now I'm gonna go back into that same thing again. Right hand comes down towards the floor. Rotate that left hand up towards the ceiling. Make sure you're breathing. And your right hand should be right over your left foot. Good. Come up. Rotate over to the other side. Bring that left elbow on the inside of your shin. Push. And you can assist that rotation by driving that right hand into the corner here. Good, let's go one more time. That right hand down towards the floor. Open up that rotation. Good. Come back out. Rotate the opposite way. Push. Good, slowly come out. And now we're going to switch sides. Okay? So this is a good way to kind of work on that thoracic rotation, but also working on the hips a little bit too. That front leg might be getting a little tired. That's okay. That's okay, me too. All right, so we're going to do that same thing here. So you get lined up, okay? And adjust your position however you need to make sure you're in the right position. So, left hand is here. Okay, so same thing, load that front leg, knee stacked over the ankle, okay? Drive that back heel back, squeeze that left glute, reach down towards the floor, pushing the stick into the corner of the wall, rotate that right hand up, trying to create that straight line, right? Good. Open up and rotate the opposite way. Bring that right elbow to the inside of that right leg. Push. Breathe. Good. Let's switch again. Come up and out. Bring that left hand back down. Rotate that right hand up towards the ceiling. Good. Come up. Rotate the opposite way. Place that right elbow on the inside. Push. Get that rotation. Open up that T-spine. Make sure you're breathing here. One more time. Come up and out. Place that left hand down. Rotate that right hand up towards the ceiling. Good. Rotate the opposite way. Bring that right elbow on the inside. Push. Good. 3, 2, 1. Slowly come out. Awesome. Good. Now we're going to do here, we're going to take the second stick. Okay. So if you have one stick here, my suggestion for this drill is to use that one stick. That's going to be on that outside of that front leg here. Okay. So we're going to work with some rotation, but we're going to work with rotation from a split stance position. So I'll start with my right leg forward first. Left foot's going to be back. So my left stick is going to be in line with 12 o'clock. So right on my center line here. The right stick is going to be angled back, so it's effectively in line with my hips here for the most part, okay? Left hand is going to be roughly about shoulder height. Right hand is going to be roughly about shoulder height. So as I go open up and rotate going back, it's going to be, again, at shoulder height here. So we're really trying to reach and stretch here, okay? So from here, make sure that back foot is planted. Squeeze that left glute. Again, we're trying to lock those hips forward here. Slight bend of both knees. What I'm going to do, I'm going to lightly drive both sticks into the floor here about 15%. And then I'm going to open up, and rotate to my right, and I'm driving that left stick forward, driving that right stick back. So I'm trying to get as much separation as I can here. Good. Slowly come back. Excellent, good. Let's go again. Open up, rotate to the right, reach forward with that left hand, reach back with the right. Breathe. Good. Come back again. Let's go one more time here. Open up, rotate. Make sure you're breathing. Trying to separate those sticks as much as you can. Good. Come back forward. And let's switch sides here. Okay. And I'll go with the forward position here. So you kind of see what that front view looks like a bit. All right. So same setup. Okay. Right. Back foot is planted. Squeeze that right glute. Okay. Drive that heel into the floor. Drive both sticks down. Open up and rotate to the left. Drive that right hand forward, left hand back. Good. Rotate back forward. Good. Let's go a couple more. Open up that left side, rotate, drive that right hand forward. Excuse me. Good. Come back around. Keep it nice and controlled. One more time, one more time. Okay, open up to that left, drive that right hand forward, reach, reach. Good. Slowly come back. Excellent. Ease off. So, what I am going to do, one last drill, I'm going to work on loosening up that spine. So you're only going to need one more stick for this. So we're going to go with spinal circles here. We're specifically working with almost like a kayaking, but think about kayaking more so with your spine. So we're going to get some of that lateral flexion, but we're also going to get some extension and flexion as well. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take this stick and I'm going to place it on my upper back here. So it's basically going across the back of my shoulders, okay? And what I want to do here, I'll actually turn from the side so you can actually kind of see what that looks like. I'm going to go with about roughly a shoulder width stance, okay? Toes are forward, gripping the ground with my feet here. I'm going to start to create circles, and I'm looking at the ends of the stick to make sure that it's going in a circular motion. So squeeze the glutes, lock those hips forward, and I'm going to start to slowly draw circles here. Okay, so what I'm moving here is my T-spine and my mid-spine here. So a little bit of mid-back and upper back here, okay? Shoulders are moving in a circular motion. Now you want to create as big of circles as you can control, right? And now what we can do is we can further start to exaggerate those movements. So as I start to go down, I can really go down on both sides. So now I'm getting a lot more of that lateral flexion in the spine. Still keeping those glutes tight to make sure that the lower back's not moving. But we're just creating circles with the stick, but we're getting a lot of movement in that spine here. Now it's going to switch directions. Good. It's almost like you're reaching here, right? I'm trying to scoop up a snowball. If you're in snow, in California it doesn't snow. This would be that motion here. Good. Let's go a few more. 3, 2, 1, and ease off. Good. All right. That concludes the warm-up. So now we're going to get into the Dunphy squat. So again, a variation is going to be a little tricky here, at least just because we are going to go into squatting on our ball and toes of our foot. So almost like doing a cyclist squat, pretty similar, okay? So I am going to get into the squat rack here, okay? And make sure I turn this camera at least a little bit so you guys can see me. All right, right there, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna get into the squat rack here. Now your squat stance is always gonna be whatever's most comfortable for you, whatever causes the least amount of pain or discomfort. So if you squat narrow or squat wide, go whatever's most comfortable here, okay? So I'm gonna place the top of the stick into the top of the rack here. So this would be your door frame, right? And so what I wanna do, I'm gonna take whatever natural squat stance you typically tend to go with, and I'm gonna get set up in that position. Now you wanna make sure your feet are kept active. So my feet are also slightly angled out a little bit, okay? And my hands are roughly about waist height, right below my belly button here, okay? So first thing I wanna do is I wanna drive the stick up, 50% tension. So go ahead and push. You should feel like you're getting some extension in the spine here. That's what we're going for, okay? Again, make sure you're grabbing the ground with your feet, okay? Now what I'm gonna do from here, I'm gonna slowly start to push myself down into the squat, driving my knees away from one another, all the way down to that deepest part of the squat. Keep your hands in front of your face, elbows in, hold this position, slowly come up. Good. Lock those glutes, squeeze them, and ease off. Okay. let's go through 2 more reps. Then we're gonna get into the harder stuff. All right, so same thing, drive the stick up, 50%, push, okay? Go ahead and initiate the squat, drive yourself down into the squat here, make sure your feet are flat, gripping the ground with your feet, get to that bottom position and hold, hold, 3, 2, 1, slowly come up. Squeeze the glutes, ease off. Good, let's go one more time here, okay? Right. Drive up, 50% still. Slowly drive yourself down into that squat. Hold. 3, 2, 1, slowly come up. And ease off. Good. Okay. Now what we're going to do here is going to make it a little more challenging is heels are off the floor. Keep your heels off the floor the best that you can throughout the squat here. So the movement's actually going to be quite a bit slower than the one we just did. So the pause at the bottom is going to be shorter, but the movement's going to take a little bit longer here, okay? So you need to make sure that you maintain balance as we do this here. So get set up in the same position. Make sure you switch your hands, okay? And what I'm going to do here, again, I'm going to kind of get into that same squat stance, okay? You can manipulate your feet however you want. So, drive the stick up 50%. Then I'm going to come up on the ball and soles of my foot here, okay? Keep my heels off. I'm going to slowly drive myself down into the squat, keeping balance. You're going to notice that your spine position is much more upright. Hold. Good. Come up, nice and slow. Nice and slow. All the way up. And ease off. Let's do 2 more. So, the thing about that variation is that you now start to challenge a lot of the stability and the balance here, okay? So, same thing, drive the stick up 50%, okay? Heels up, okay? Good, slowly drive yourself down, nice and slow. Allow those knees to travel forward. Push yourself down, push, push, push. Good, slowly come up, nice and slow. All the way up, ease off. Excellent, let's go one more time here, okay? My hands are getting a little sweaty, so don't mind me wiping them on my shirt. All right, last one. Drive up 50%, okay? Heels up. Drive yourself down, nice and slow. Keep it controlled. Allows these to track forward. Push, 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 push. Hold. Slowly come up. And ease off. Good call. All right. So now we're going to switch over to a little more of a sissy squat. So the technique for this is going to be a little bit different here. Namely because we're actually going to want our knees to actually travel forward. So this is where we'll need 2 sticks, okay? So I'm going to move this back over here. Right. So I'm going to So this is where you need a corner of a wall here, right? So where the sticks are here is, remember, so how we set up for a deadlift typically, the stick is basically right about here, right? That's where I want the stick, okay? So make sure to angle back. And again, whatever squat stance is most comfortable. If you want it to be a little bit more challenging, you can move your feet in a little bit closer here, okay? So I'm gonna start myself with a shoulder width stance, okay? And I want my feet to be pointed forward for this, all right? So I actually don't really want a little bit of a toe angle outwards. I want my feet forward, okay? And I'm going to actually grip the ends of the stick here, okay? So I'm gonna come up on the ball and toes of my foot here, on both feet, okay? That's the first thing. So I'm actually going to kind of drive the sticks back lightly, about 10 to 15%, just to get a little bit of tension. I'm gonna squat down, but as I squat down, I'm gonna drive my knees forward. So I'm gonna also kind of lean back a bit, okay? So from here, allow those knees to come forward. So you have the sticks for balance. Hold here. Slowly come up. All the way up. Good. Bring those heels down. If this is a little bit too risky for you, you can actually completely sub this out by actually just doing a regular squat and utilizing the sticks for that balance here, okay? So, let's go again. We're gonna do 3 reps. We're gonna do holds at the bottom here, okay? So, heels up. I'll move my stance in a little bit closer. Gonna start to squat down. Again, allow those knees to track forward. Kind of lean back a bit. Hold. Good. Slowly come up. Good. Stay up top. Let's go again. Nice and slow. Allow those knees to track forward, lean back. Good. Hold. Come up slow. Drive through those quads. Excellent. Let's go again. Drive those knees forward. Lean back. Hold. Drive through those quads. Come up. Nice and slow, nice and slow. And ease off. Guys probably didn't see that, but I was shaking a little bit. All right. So let's get into one last drill here. I just want to do a little bit of core activation here, okay? I'm gonna place one stick down. Only need one stick for this one here, okay? So we are gonna get into a reverse bow and arrow just to get some of those obliques, those lateral tissues a little active here, okay? All right. So I'm actually gonna change my position a little bit. I'm gonna have the outside leg forward here. So 6 on the right side of my body. I'm gonna have my left leg forward, right foot back, okay? What I wanna do here, this left hand is gonna come up over the top, thumb facing down towards the floor. Right hand, you can have it roughly, you wanna have it roughly about hip height here, okay? We're trying to pull that elbow in. So I'm gonna laterally flex over. I'm gonna drive the stick into the ground here. My back foot, I'm on the ball and toes of my foot here. I wanna drive that up, that top hand away from my body. I'm gonna pull that right elbow in towards my hip. I'm gonna hold this position. Good, ease off. Good, and you're still driving that stick into the floor. That tension doesn't change. Okay, so drive stick into the floor here. Extend that top hand out, pull that right hand in. Ease off. Good. Let's go one more time here. Okay. Draw that stick down, extend that top hand out, pull the right elbow in. 3, 2, 1, good, ease off. Now we're gonna switch sides. Okay, we're not really spending a lot of time in this position here. We're just, again, getting some of that extra activation here. So, same position. Again, that stick is right in line with my hips here, okay? Right hand up over the top, okay? Same thing, I'm laterally flexing, right? Already getting some of that oblique activation here. Drive the stick into the floor, okay? Extend that right hand out, top hand out, pull the bottom hand in. 3, 2, 1, good, ease off. Excellent. Let's go 2 more. Same thing. Drive stick into the floor, extend that top hand out, pull that bottom hand in. 3, 2, 1, good, ease off. Excellent, one last time. Okay. Drive that stick down, extend that top hand out, pull that left hand in. 3, 2, 1, good, ease off, and relax. All right, good. So, that concludes the strength training part. Hope your quads are feeling pretty dang good right now. So now, we're gonna get into your deep fascial stretching. So, if you have a bench, it'd be perfect for you to use, because we are now gonna start to use that pad. We're gonna first stretch out the quads here, okay? So, I'm gonna take this. This is right here. We're gonna need that second stick, okay? I'm gonna move the bench right over to here. Okay. So I'm gonna take the pad, place it close to the bench here, okay? So I'm gonna place my left foot with the top of my foot on the top on the bench here, okay? And I'm going to drop that knee down, okay? So we're familiar with this one here, right? So I wanna make sure that the top of my foot is in the bench. Just being in this position might already be a stretch for most. So let's just hold this position here for about 15 to 20 seconds. Let's just focus on breathing, okay? So take deep breaths. So deep breaths in through the nose. Full exhale through the mouth. Let's go through 3 more breath cycles. Deep breath in. Long exhale out. Couple more. Deep breath in. Long exhale out. Last one. Deep breath in. Long exhale out. Good. We're going to come back to the side. We're going to assist myself up with the sticks, and I'm going to switch legs now, okay? We're going to right foot on top of the bench, place that right leg down. Again, it's okay if one side's tighter than the other, right? Most people have asymmetries. So, okay, same thing. We're going to go through 5 breath cycles here, okay? Deep breath in. Long exhale out. Deep breath in. Long exhale out. Deep breath in. Exhale. 2 more. Deep breath in. Long exhale. Last one. Deep breath in. Long exhale out. Excellent. Assist yourself up. We're going to switch back to that left side now. So now we're going to add in a little bit of rotation side to side here, okay? So, place that left foot back. Okay, drive that back knee down. Now I'm gonna do here. So the sticks are gonna be angled, or the bottoms of the sticks are basically right in front of the line of my hips here, okay? I'm gonna take my hands, place them up top here, grab up as high as you can, okay? What I'm gonna do from here, I'm gonna lightly drive the sticks down. So I'm gonna get a little bit of tension in the shoulders here. I got a light hang in the shoulders, right? What I'm gonna do from here, I'm gonna start rotating side to side. So I'm gonna rotate to my right, or towards my right leg first, and I'm going to drive that right hand back, reach that left hand forward, okay? I'm gonna rotate back. Now I'm gonna rotate to the left. So you're gonna notice the stretch become a little bit different as you rotate side to side. You might start switching from the adductor to those anterior tissues of the hip, those hip flexors, right? So you're gonna rotate side to side, nice and controlled. Rotate to the opposite side here. One more time. Good. Make sure you're breathing. Back to center. Assist yourself up. Let's go ahead and switch sides now. The legs should be feeling quite a bit looser from earlier now. Hopefully. So, place that right foot down, okay? Good. Right knee on the ground here. Grab up top, okay? Rotate towards that front leg first. So I'm gonna rotate to my left. So driving those sticks down, only so it's really light. Good. Rotate to the right. Try to stay as centered as you possibly can. Rotate to the left. Right. Good. Left. And right. Back to center and assist yourself up. Excellent. Okay. I'm going to move the bench out of the way so we do not need this anymore. So now we're going to get into a little bit of ninja flow. So only need one stick for this one. Okay? So take a stance as wide as whatever's comfortable for you. Okay? If you like, you can have your feet angled out a bit, right? It's all going to be a little bit of preference here. So let's start with the stick on the left side here. Okay? I have the stick on the inside, on my instep here, my left foot. So right by the arch of my left foot here. Okay? The left hand is at about forehead height. Okay? What I'm going to do here, from here, the first move is to hinge back. So I'm going to lightly drive the stick down about 15%, just to get some of the tension in the lateral tissues here. And then I'm going to start to hinge and drive my hips back, keeping my knees soft. The stick comes in line with my shoulder. It's not above, right? It's right in line with my shoulder. So now I get that stretch in the chest, the rib cage, the shoulder, right? The anterior part of the shoulder here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take my right hand, reach down towards the bottom, thumb facing down towards the floor, and I'm going to pull apart. That's the first part of the movement. Okay? Now I'm going to lunge to my right, driving off that left leg, straightening out that knee. Good. And now I'm going to drive off my right leg, pushing, lunging to the left. Good. Lunge back to the right. Pulling the stick apart still. Good. Lunge to the left. One more time. Lunge to the right. Drive off that left leg. Good. Lunge to the left. Excellent. Back to center. Slowly come up. Excellent. Switch sides here. Okay. Going to go through those same steps. Right hand is about forehead height. Okay. Drive the stick down first, 15%. Get some of that tension. Drive those hips back. Good. Feel that stretch in the chest, shoulders. Now grab the stick with the left hand or bottom hand, thumb facing down towards the floor, pull apart. Get that upper back activation. Now push off that right leg. Good. Drive off that left. Lunge to the right. It's okay if that bottom arm bends, by the way. Good. Draw off that right leg. Lunge to your right, left. Breathe. Good. Draw off that left leg. Lunge to your right. Getting that adductor stretch here, right? Lunge to your left. Good. Draw off that left leg, lunge to your right. Excellent. Back to center. Let go. Slowly come up. Excellent. Wiggle your feet in. Good. Now what we're going to do here, just going to finish off stretching out the adductors here. So we're going to go to the floor. Again, we're only going to need one stick for this. Okay, so we're going to do the straddle stretch. So, I'm going to be here. So ordinarily, I would personally do this with the pro model, something a little bit stronger. But what we're going to do is want to make sure that the stick is actually right where the arches of the feet are. We don't want the stick right where the toes are, otherwise it comes past when you start to pull because we need to generate some tension here. So I want the stick on the inside of the arch of my foot, and I want my toes pointed up. I don't want my toes to be pointed out here, okay? I want my feet pointed up, okay? What I'm going to do from here, gripping the stick at about roughly shoulder width apart, I want to use the stick to create tension and straighten out my spine here. So from here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull on the stick. What about 20 to 30% tension? I'm going to straighten out my back and sit up tall. Okay, so we should be getting a little bit of a stretch in the adductors here. Now what I want you to do is I want you to resist the force of the stick. So the stick is bending back this way. I want you to think about adducting your legs here. So I'm going to kind of compress on the stick, get a little bit of activation in those adductors here, right? Only about 20%. Going to ease off. Excellent. We're going to do that again. This time we're going to walk our hands side to side, okay? Hand over hand here. So rotate the stick a bit so it's not bending all in one way. We're going to do that same thing again. Pull on the stick, straighten that upper back out. I'm going to take my right hand and take it off. Then I'm going to walk it over my left, okay? So I'm going to start to bend towards my left leg. Now I'm going to take my left hand, move it over a little bit more, take my right hand, reach it over the top, and I'm going to pull myself down towards my left foot, okay? So you're going to get even bigger stretch on that left adductor and the hamstring. So I'm going to walk my hands back over hand, and I'm going to go to the right side, okay? That same thing, if I'm on the right side, my left hand should be reaching over the right hand. Make sure you breathe here. Good. Walk your hands back to the center. Hold. Slowly ease off. Excellent. And that concludes today's stick mobility class. Thank you for joining me today, everybody. Hope everybody had a good class. Wanted to make it a little bit more challenging for you guys. But Be sure to check out our other content. And happy Saturday. Stay safe out there. Catch you guys on the next one, all right?